Hi all, and today I'm talking about being a wounded healer. So, as a therapist, when I went back to retrain at the age of 30, I was told that I was going to have to do 2 years of therapy as part of my training. And I was kind of horrified, to be honest, because I didn't think I had any issues. I didn't know what I was going to talk about for like an hour a week for 2 years. I thought that, my family were very loving and I had a very normal background and I came from a nice middle class family and everybody loved each other and I was doing quite well in my life, and I had decided to go back to retrain. I was lucky I had the disposable income to do that and all that good stuff. Until myself and my therapist started digging into my life. And then we realised that not only do I actually share the personality type of a lot of clients who come to us for support with emotion eating and binge eating disorder, and you have heard me talk about that personality type before, perfectionistic, high-achieving, all-or-nothing thinker, either doing it all right or all wrong, a people pleaser, finding it very difficult to say no or have boundaries around other people, can be doing very well and looking like it's all going on. I just said that. I thought it was all going on in my life. I was doing fine. But actually, beneath the surface, the imposter syndrome is real. And having that low-lying feeling of unworthiness or not deserving or not being good enough. Now, this is the bit that my therapist picked up on when I started doing my work. I had a really deep-seated feeling of insecurity in myself. So I was always just waiting for my friends to fall out with me or for them to decide that, they didn't want to be my friend anymore and that they were going to go off and find somebody else. And the most extreme time that this really hit me was with my fiance at the time, my husband now, but we were engaged and we were at home and we had a row about something, can't remember what it was some silly fight about something, and it escalated a little bit. And I remember taking off my engagement ring and throwing it at him and saying, "This means nothing. It's only a matter of time before you're going to, walk off and leave me." And I had projected, a reluctance onto him, but actually it was me who felt that this wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to get married. Nobody could possibly love me enough to want to marry me. So this is interesting because I was going through my therapy at the time and I brought it straight to therapy, obviously, and I was telling my therapist about it. And she said, "Well, do you not understand that it's because of what happened to your mum when you were 8? My mother had had a very serious car accident and had almost died. In fact, if she had been wearing her seatbelt on the day that she'd had this accident, she would have died. She would have been killed outright. And in fact, we had been told that she would have been decapitated had she had her seatbelt on. It was only for the fact that she hadn't got her seatbelt on that she actually survived this accident, because she managed to slip out of the car and not be, hit head on by the articulated lorry that ploughed into her. So she was sick. She was, not sick, but I suppose indisposed for 2 years. She had severe depression for 2 years. She couldn't walk for 6 months after the accident. My dad had to step up and become the primary caregiver. And for a man in Ireland in 1978, that's not the easiest thing to do because it was a very traditional structure back then. My father couldn't cook. He didn't really know how to look after the kids. He barely even knew our teachers' names or, where our school was. And that was just because that was how it was back then. So as the eldest daughter, I stepped up. I, took on a lot of responsibility by my own, decision. Not that anybody was piling responsibility on me, but I chose to take on a lot of responsibility. I realised that whatever was going on in my life, I couldn't talk to my mum about it because she was pretty much unavailable emotionally for a long time. And I couldn't really speak to my dad either because I knew on some level that he was, busy enough, he had enough to be coping with, without me adding to his burdens. This is a very common presentation for clients with emotion eating and binge eating disorder. And this is something that I would hear about all the time. Something was going on in the family. The child, who's that perfectionistic, high achieving, all or nothing, people pleasing child, takes on inappropriate responsibility, feels that they can turn to mum and dad and ask for help, and they find ways to self-soothe or self-regulate it. And that's often by eating. Now, I didn't turn to food because I had other ways of being able to support myself, and I was very lucky in that regard. But this is a very common story for clients. And I'm sure it's a very common story for obviously practitioners who've had their own struggles with food as well. But I was lucky because, as I say, when I went to train as a therapist, I had to do my own personal work. And then as a practicing therapist, I had to go to supervision every week. So If I had 15 clients or more, I was expected to go for an hour of supervision. Supervision is really therapy for the therapist. So that when I am, as you are all the time, being triggered by clients are showing me blind spots that I have, there's transference happening where, the client's problems are becoming my problems, or my problems are becoming the client's problems, or, all of those things are very real, and they happen between ourselves and clients all the time. But a lot of health practitioners don't have to go to supervision, and they don't have to do any personal work as part of their training. So if you feel that you still have outstanding issues with food, your weight and your body image, and because of that you feel like an imposter, and because of that you feel like you can't maybe take our professional training and train with us and become an emotion eating and binge eating specialist because it's too much for you to sit in front of a client and, be doing that work with a client when you maybe haven't done your own work yourself, maybe joining our online group program is the solution for you. This is going to be a very safe, collaborative 6-month space where you will have access to the full Eating Freely online program. You will have weekly live calls with one of 2 Eating Freely coaches who are qualified health professionals just like you and have taken our advanced training. And you will have the community of other people who will be there with you every step of the way and know what it feels like because they have gone through exactly the same experience. The cost of this program is $495 for 6 months support. So as a professional, if you think about what your, hourly session fee is, 6 sessions with you probably costs more than this 6 months of support. And you could be doing yourself the best favour you've ever done, not just for yourself, but also maybe for your clients in future. Because when you resolve your own issues with food, that makes you a better, more available practitioner for clients. And it doesn't matter if you never choose to come and do our training and specialise in emotion binge eating. If you've done this online program for yourself and resolved your own issues with food, your weight and your body image, that leads you to be a better practitioner for your clients. If you need to have a chat with me about it, there's a link below to book a 15-minute Zoom call, and I'd be very happy to have a chat and see if it's the right option for you now. Take care and bye for now.